Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we are flipping a leadership myth upside down. You've probably been told, or maybe you have at least felt in your leadership journey, that being a good leader, it means always being available, being at the beck and call. You know, that leader that's quick to answer, quick to solve, quick to jump into everything. But here's the truth. Being too available, it's not a virtue. As a matter of fact, I would say it's a leadership trap. And the more accessible you make yourself, the less effective you become.
This is the Champion Forum podcast with Jeff Hancher, the forum for leaders, champions, and dreamers.
What if you could change someone's life and strengthen your business at the same time? The skilled labor shortage is real, but the solution is closer than you think. At the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh, we don't just train workers, we transform lives. TIP provides hands-on vocational training, equipping individuals who have faced barriers to employment with the skills and confidence to succeed. These aren't just students, they're our future workforce, ready to work and eager to contribute. As a business owner, you need reliable and skilled talent. At TIP, we're training the workforce of tomorrow, and you can be a part of that solution. By hiring a graduate, partnering with our program, or making a contribution, you're not just filling jobs, you're changing lives, strengthening communities, and investing in the future of your industry. Join the movement. Visit tipgh.org or call 412-243-2970 to learn how you can support the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh, whether by hiring, donating, or mentoring. Let's build something that lasts.
Hey, let's be honest here on this subject. And I know I'm going to hit some nerves, but that's what we do here on the show, right? If we're being very honest, most leaders don't make themselves constantly available because it's strategic. You know, you don't set up the strategy of, I'm always going to be available and ready to serve everybody. Most leaders, they are always available because it feels good. It kind of feels nice. It's kind of this badge that we wear that says my door is always open. I don't know if that's the best way to go about leading. You know, when we're always available, it might feel like the right thing because it feels very helpful. It makes you feel like this servant leader. And by the way, there's plenty of teaching on servant leadership. Now, let me throw out the disclaimer. I am about serving people. But I'm talking to the leader today that is always on the beck and call. The one that's leaving the office exhausted because they were doing everybody's work all day and haven't had time to be a strategic leader. There is a cost involved with always being on and always being available for your team. Every time you make yourself the answer key to your entire team, you know what you're really doing? You're slowing down the growth of your team. You're slowing down the individuals on your team. You're literally holding them back from them being able to reach their full potential. The more you handhold, the more helpless your team becomes. And this might be a hard truth because we're leading this way because we think what we're actually doing is helping people, because we're serving people, but we're literally not. Instead of developing resourcefulness, these kind of leaders, they develop reliance, and they build a team that is always looking for reliance. Our job is to build a team that is resourceful on their own. This is this reproduction that every leader should be in a mission to do, is reproduce themselves in other people. Instead of this leader building confidence in others, what they're building is codependence, not sustainable over the long haul. And I will tell you this, if you're listening today and you're like, you know what, Jeff might be reading my mail here. I'm going to tell you this. It happens faster than you think. So those of you that are aspiring to lead or you're new to leadership, be careful. You have a golden opportunity to set the healthy boundaries that you need to set so that your team can reach its fullest potential. If you're always available, you're not building leaders. You're building bottlenecks. That's what you're building. You become the bottleneck for the scalability of your entire team, perhaps the organization. Think about it. When you're always there to save the day, put your Superman cape on, you're not empowering your team to lead. You're teaching them literally to wait. Think about it. People will almost always take the easier path. Isn't this true? This is human nature, by the way. These aren't people that are trying to take advantage of you. They're trying to help themselves. They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to help them. By the way, why wouldn't they do this? If the choice is struggle through a problem or fire off a quick text to you and get an answer, which one do you think they're going to pick? They're going to pick the leadership vending machine. Hey, shoot the text, get an answer. Shoot the text, solve a problem. Of course they're going to go to you every single time. Why wouldn't they? You have trained them to do this. That's not leadership. That's enabling. We cannot be leaders that enable this kind of behavior. It's important that we have this perspective that setting boundaries, it's a gift. It's not a punishment. You're not punishing people by setting boundaries. You're literally giving them a gift. Here's where people get it wrong, at least from my perspective. Setting tighter boundaries around your availability, it doesn't make you aloof. And this is where it can go off sometimes because we're afraid you know what, if I set these boundaries, people might think that I'm checked out. I'm not on. I'm not available. I'm kind of out to lunch leader. I don't believe that to be true. I believe that setting clear boundaries can be very healthy. I believe it makes you effective. It forces people to own their own problems, their own challenges, to help them start creating solutions. It helps them to think critically. It helps them to grow professionally. There's a lot of benefits to this. People become very resourceful when the leader isn't just an answer-solving vending machine. If you're always able to be interrupted and you have this leadership mantra that you parade around as a banner, this mantra of my door is always open, shame on you. This has been thrown out there way too much as a leadership badge of honor. My door is always open. It is? I think that's a major problem. Matter of fact, I've been in coaching sessions with executives that had the door closed for our meeting and somebody came in because they had a very important, air quotes, question to ask them. It was not important at all. What type of healthy leadership culture allows somebody to open a door and come in? I think that crosses the boundary of what healthy is. You can't always be available to be interrupted. What you're doing is you're training people to prioritize convenience over competence. This is a major, major blunder for a leader. Remember, when everything is urgent, nothing is important. Do you find that your teammates, the people that you're leading, are always coming to you with something that is quote unquote urgent? It can't wait. Everything is urgent. I had to bust the door in. I knew you were on a phone call, but this is mission critical. Is it really? You see, when you set boundaries, you're giving your team permission to solve problems without you. Man, what a gift you are giving them. And the truth is, the best leaders aren't the ones who answer every single call, every single text, every single email that comes through. The best leaders are the ones whose teams don't need them for every single thing. They empower them. If you're listening at this point, and you're like, man alive, he's talking to me. What do I do? You're saying, wow, I have trained my team to be fully dependent on me. Don't worry. Don't worry. This is absolutely fixable. I have coached several people, mentored several people through this. And let me take my hat off to you, leader, that this applies to. Because I know deep inside you is a huge heart, a heart that wants to serve people, a heart of a leader that wants to go the extra mile. But you're most likely, if this is you, you're feeling the weight of this. You're feeling frustration. You're feeling burnout. You're not sure how much you can do. And at some point, it's going to start impacting the business and the results you're trying to achieve. Here's where you need to start. Here's some things that you can literally start implementing right away to transition into this leader that sets boundaries. The first thing that you can do is set what I like to call office hours for non-critical questions. By the way, you might want to define what critical is and what an emergency is, because what's an emergency to some people is not an emergency to me. But when you set these office hours, make it clear when you are available for the collaboration with your team and when you're not. And when you're not, do not take the bait. Now listen, if it's a true emergency, by your definition, of course you're going to make exception. The next thing that you can do is require a what have you tried approach to every question that you ask folks. Because you've trained them by now to come to you with every little thing, everything. Hey, boss, what do you think of this? Hey, boss, we have a big problem. What should we do? Hey, boss, hey, boss, hey, boss. Before someone comes to you, they have to be prepared to share two things that they've already tried. This is a great way to set tone and set culture, meaning I'm not prepared to hear about the problem until I have heard about a couple of things that you have tried to solve the problem. And resist the urge to solve the problem. Ask questions. I know that you already know the answer. And sometimes as leaders, what we think is it would be much faster just to give them the answer than to go through this whole collaboration dialogue. Just give them the answer. Look, you might save a little bit of time right now, but compounding over the long haul, this is going to give you the leadership freedom you need to be the effective leader that you can become. When someone brings you a problem, don't default to giving answers constantly. Coach them by asking them great questions. Hey, what do you think we should do? Here comes the problem. Here comes the leader. What do you think we should do? What are your thoughts on that? It's very important also that we communicate the why. Why are you transitioning into this new leader? You have to let the team know. Tell your team you're doing this because you believe in them, not because you're checking out. And please don't miss this step, because my hope is by the end of this episode, you're like, you know what? I can't believe the timing of this episode. I've been feeling this. I've been kind of feeling like I'm doing this. And what you don't want to do is let the pendulum swing from where you are clear to the other side. Your team is going to think you lost your mind and you have lost interest. You have to set the tone, maybe in a team meeting. Don't miss this step. Otherwise, your team's going to think that you have given up on them. Let them know, look, we're going this direction so that I can have the leadership capacity that I need to be effective. But more important than that is that I have not been giving you all empowerment that I know that you need to grow. By the way, leader, isn't this the same thing that your leaders did for you to get you to the place that you're in now? Once you have this new environment established, it's critical that you celebrate these independent wins from different team members that you're leading. Recognize and offer praise when someone solves a problem without needing you. Catch them winning, and I mean make a huge deal of this. Broadcast it. Scream it from the mountaintops. What gets recognized often gets repeated. You're now trying to shift your leadership brand and literally shift the culture of your team. Make sure that you are celebrating in a big way people that are solving problems on their own. Listen, you don't grow people by rescuing them. You grow other people by trusting them and believing in them to go into the fight and win. Look, there's going to be scrapes. There's going to be bruises. You're going to be there with the Band-Aids and the ointment. But you got to let them fight a little bit and believe in them that they can win the fight. Leadership, it's not about being constantly needed. It's about building a team that doesn't need you and you alone for their own personal success. Remember, availability, man, it feels nice. Being always on, being always there, it feels nice. But here's what I know about leaders that build a legacy. They are leaders that empower other people to go beyond their fullest potential. Freedom to fail is the tuition that people pay to become great. Isn't it true? Wasn't there leaders around you that allowed you to fail? Isn't this what you did even with your own child if you are a parent when they wanted to learn how to ride a bike? You went out into the driveway knowing that they were going to fail, but you knew it was necessary for them to get those training wheels off the bike. Freedom to fail. It's the tuition people pay to become great. You can't become great without the freedom to fail. Please don't become a leader that doesn't provide that opportunity to people. especially if you're a leader that has a big heart, which I know that you are. Because not only are you providing them the freedom to fail, you're providing them the freedom to fail in a safe environment with a leader that truly cares. Appreciate you all joining today. Hey, until next time, don't become too available and keep turning that pressure into potential.
The Champion Forum Podcast with Jeff Hancher. Lead, inspire, win.